Alrighty, happy week 1, everybody. I am going to go over what we did in our class this week, and then kind of review it as we go along, so you can use this for review at home too, if that is helpful. So starting with math, we did our skip counting the 1s and the 2s. So obviously 1 through 15, just counting 1 to 15. And then we did exercises along with this. We did squats along with our 1s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, and we're remembering that each of these is 1 times 1 equals 1, 1 times 2 equals 2. So in future weeks, I may actually go ahead and write that out on here. For skip counting the 2s, we did the song that is on the CC album that they, the CC published song. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and 30. And we then did that with marching in place. And I think we did it with twists as well, singing the 2s. Going on to science. What are the classifications of living things? Domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. We reviewed this in class by jumping on the squares of an agility ladder. So we had one at home that I brought in, and we actually used painter's tape to put like the first letter of each thing on the floor so the kids knew what it kind of like gave them a hint of what the next thing was. Okay, it is thunderstorming outside and we lost power in the middle of that. So for a moment, but now we have power for now. So we did our agility ladder for science, and then history, we used the history song. Oh, it's "These are the words of our God, thou shalt," and then we had motions to these. So "have no other gods before me, not make unto thee any graven image." So this is for 2, not make unto thee any graven image. Not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. So this one's 3, not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. 4, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. That's where there's a little church. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. So this is father in sign language, and then mother, and then that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. So that's how we did that with motions. And then going on to Latin, it's kind of, my camera's not wanting to focus on the Latin. We did Latin noun cases, and we just kind of talked through these. Noun, subject, genitive, possessive, dative, indirect object, accusative, direct object, ablative, object of the preposition. And for these, I used, I have some cardstock that I have laminated, and I used wet erase so it wouldn't rub off, and I just wrote on each of these words, and then we kind of did a little matching game and matched them up after we said them a couple times together. And then for English, we did prepositions. A preposition relates a noun or a pronoun to another word. That one, we said it together, and then we said it faster and faster, and that helped us do our repetitions. And then for geography, we actually start with geography because that way I can have the maps all laid out on the table for them when they first get there. And so that started with, that's the Fertile Crescent this week. And we did the Mediterranean Sea, Mesopotamia, the Euphrates River, the Tigris River, and Sumer. And we talked about how all of these places are around, they're around the rivers aside from the Mediterranean Sea, Mesopotamia and Sumer were around these other rivers, and that made the land really fertile, good farmland. So that's why we call it the Fertile Crescent. And then last but not least, we did the timeline. We did that in large group, reviewed the motions, sang the song. And so we kind of finished that out in class and sang the song together. And I actually had these cards not on my board. And I had a little timeline written out so that they could help me figure out where the cards went, just as an extra little review. So each kid got a card and then they helped me clip the cards in the right place. So these ones over here, there's not an actual date for those, so I did like a dotted line. And then these ones, they had the date on the card, so I just used the oldest date on the card, and then we clipped it in the right location. So motions for the timeline, we have Age of Ancient Empires, and then the date, creation to circa 450 AD, and then we have creation and the fall. What started so low? The flood and the Tower of Babel. Mesopotamia, between two rivers, and Sumer, and then Egyptians, and then 3000 BC, and then Indus, so because it's where India is, so, and this is the symbol for India, Indus River Valley Civilization, and this is because this is an R in sign language, and these are like our rivers. Indus River Valley Civilization, and then Minoans and Mycenaeans. And I think in our large group, they skipped like the finger, like touching the ear. It's just the Y symbol straight from the ear. So it's Minoans and Mycenaeans, and that is the 7 hand motions for this week for the timeline. So that covers all of our memory work. And then in art, we did the oils. So those are our 5 elements of shape. So the O in oils is for a round shape that is closed, but it's not filled in. And then the dot of the I is for our dots, or rounded shapes that are filled in. They're completely solid. The straight part of the I is for our straight lines, and then the L is for our angled lines, and the S is for curved lines. So all of those different elements of shape can be used to draw almost anything if you're able to break it down to what just those like circled, filled in or not filled in shapes, and then the angled lines, straight lines, that kind of thing. And so we drew a pyramid, since we're studying ancient history this year. And then we also did something a little crazy, and we put shaving cream on the table and let the kids spread it out and then draw shapes with their oils in the shaving cream. So that was fun and a little crazy. Hi, Pax. And then we did, for science, dissecting a baby bean. So in our group, we did a lima bean that we soaked overnight, and since it was larger, we could see the radicle and the epicondyle and the other name, but we could see the leaves beginning to form and the root begin to form on the inside of the seed. And the cotyledons are the actual parts of the bean that give the baby plant nourishment as it's first growing, and then they actually begin photosynthesis and start making food for the plant as it's growing its first leaves, its first real leaves. They act like sort of a faux leaf. So really cool. And then everybody got to take home a couple beans and a Ziploc bag and a paper towel. So you get the paper towel wet and put the beans in there with it, and you can actually sprout your own beans at home, like tape them in the window. So they got that. And then our review game today was a game called Ouch. And in this little bag, we have a bunch of little cards. Some of them have smileys on them, and some of them have Band-Aids on them, and some of them have the word ouch on them. So each team, you would answer a question, and for this year we did, or this week we had a lot of help answering the question. So I might say the question, and they might not know the answer even as a team, but we worked together and got the answer. And then once the question was answered, they got to draw out of this bag. So if you get a smiley, you get a point. If you get an ouch, it takes away a smiley or takes away a point. And if you get a Band-Aid, it's like a save for the ouch. So then let's say you drew an ouch, but you already had a Band-Aid, you could use the Band-Aid to protect or like guard from the ouch. So you wouldn't actually get hit by the ouch. It would keep you from losing that point. And then whoever had the most smileys at the end won the game. So we had a really unbalanced game, and one team got like all smileys and the other team got like all Band-Aids and ouches. So it was a little interesting, but it was fun nonetheless. The kids really enjoyed it, and we just alternated which child was drawing from the bag to get the ouch or the smiley or the Band-Aid. Okay, so that was our week 1. It was a great week. And I think my power is flickering again. So I'm going to end the video, and we'll see you next week.